Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to my channel, Synergistic Singing. Should you sing the way you speak when it comes to breathing? Well, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. But we're going to talk about one way in which oftentimes it makes more sense to breathe, to use your breathing habits for speech, rather than what can often happen when we first start singing as beginning singers. The one thing that does happen with our speech that's really handy, and this is for, say, most people most of the time, this may not be true for you if you happen to have different breathing habits, but generally with speech, we tend to have calmer breathing. And this is important because if you're hyperventilating when you're singing, or you're taking in way too much air and then expelling way too much air out, then you're much more likely to run into strain in your throat, or you might just run out of air. So what we're gonna do is just a little exercise, and for this, you're not going to, or you're gonna try not to change anything about your breathing, and just notice your breathing right now. So notice this small movement that's going on. It's like, it kind of reminds me of the ocean. So when the seas are calm, you have this little bit of air that comes in, and then this little bit of air that slowly goes out. And it's almost invisible. It's just very small, very calm movement that's happening throughout the day, unless you're really stressed out or running or doing something more vigorous. Now, when we're singing, we have an interesting situation in that we want to be able to take in air quickly, and then we want to release it slowly so we can last through our phrase. So what that really means is that we need a really calm exhale and then a fairly calm but fast inhale. So that is not something we'll go into full detail with here, but definitely in my breathing course we'll talk about that, and you can find out more about that in the link below. But for today, I just want to talk about the general feeling of calm breathing versus hyperventilating, and an exercise that we can do so we can feel what it's like to kind of slow down and calm down our breathing for our singing. For this exercise, I call this the calming breath. So what we're going to do is we're going to take really big inhales and really big exhales, and we're going to notice what that's like, and then we're going to slowly slow those inhales and exhales down, and then also slow the total, or lower the total amount of volume that we're taking in and expelling with our air. So for this, what you're gonna do is you'll take in a big breath and then let it out. And another big breath and let it out. And let's do that fairly quickly. Let's do 5 fast inhales and exhales. So okay, so notice what that feels like. Okay, so, and you might even feel a little bit lightheaded after doing that. So oftentimes before we sing a phrase, we might do that. We might go, and it's kind of a big inhale, and then because we have all this air that we've sort of stuffed inside, we want to let it all out really quickly. So now that we've felt that, let's feel what it's like to take those inhales, have them be fast and big, and make them a little bit smaller and a little bit slower and a little bit more calm. So it'll kind of look like this. And just feel what it's like to slow down your overall breathing. Now eventually, you can go so far with that you just barely feel slight inhale and you barely feel slight exhale. And if we're doing a song that is not very demanding on our breathing technique, so let's say it's maybe around the pitch range that you speak in, or it's in a range that's very easy for you to do, and then the phrases themselves really aren't that long, then you don't really need to stray too far away from your typical breathing habits for speech. The exception is if you go around all day hyperventilating, then we have to work with those those breathing habits for speech. But assuming you have generally calm breathing throughout the day, and you're not saying like, "Hey, how's it going?" then you can absolutely use your same breathing habits that you would use for speech in your singing. Now, if you're singing, say, really high, really loud notes, or really low, really loud notes, or just really, really long notes, even though they're in a comfortable range, then that's where you would have to kind of slow down your breathing more and also make sure you take in enough air so that you can last through your phrases. I hope that gives you an idea of how your breathing for speech can actually be really helpful for your singing. And for more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. And for voice lessons, either online or my Austin, Texas studio, go to synergisticsinging.com/schedule a lesson. Thanks for watching.